the previous lesson, we checked how we can test our Rust application. So let's dive a bit deeper and let's see how we can control how tests are run. To do this, we create a new project. We can do this typing cargo new -- lib. This is the option to create a library, and then we can call it like live tests. Then we step into the directory, this, and then we can open this with any IDE we want. For example, I'll use VS Code, okay? And when we create a library like this, this is the code we have. So if we type just cargo new and the name of a project, we'll have a main.rs file. If we type cargo new -- lib, we'll have a file called lib.rs and this code, which is a simple function with a test. Okay, you can see here we have this attribute, it's basically an annotation, and then we have a function that will test this other function. Let's try to type let's try to type cargo test, and indeed this test passes. So the default code actually works. Okay, so now let's try something different. I want to remove this, remove the code here, and replace it with a different code, because let's try this. We have this this function that prints and returns 10, and then it will return just 10, no matter what. Okay, and then we have a value here, and then we are running two tests here. So here, if I type cargo test, one of the two tests is failing, and can you see here on line 17 this test will fail. Why? Because in the test we said that this function will return 5, and this is not true. And this is a bit hard to understand what happened here, because here we wrote something wrong in the test. Okay, so how can we debug our testing? We can use this option to show the function output. I want to show again that when we type cargo test, we don't see the line 2. This println is not shown. You can see this I got the value is not shown here, because this is just running the test. So can I show what the function is doing while I'm testing the application, basically calling the function? Yes, I can. I can use this option, which is cargo test -- space -- show output. This is the first option that I want to show you here. Okay, and now here the test of course is still failing, but if we go here, check here, we are getting the output of the function. So if I'm actually interested in what the function is doing, I can use this command -- show output. Side note, this -- after test, it means that we are actually using this option not for cargo, but for this other command, which is test. So test space -- space and then -- show output. Okay. Something else that I also want to tell you before we keep going is that when we run tests, maybe we have a CPU with, maybe we have multiple CPUs on our machine. Probably this is the usual use case nowadays, and we have multiple threads on the CPU. So is there a way to force the test to go sequentially, so one by one? Yes, there is an option. It's hard to show, but I just want to show you the command, which is cargo test space -- and then test -- threads, and then the name of the threads we want to use when we are running this test. This is for if we have a multi-thread CPU, which is now the case. Of course, we can see a different output. This is just to show the command. SQL injections. No, SQL injections have nothing to do with this. Okay, so this was to show the output. Let's see. Okay, I want to show you something else. Can we run a subset of tests? Because so far we did just a cargo test and all the tests, they were just running. But sometimes we want to run just some of the tests. So we have this function, pub function that adds 2 numbers, and then we have 3 tests. You can see them on line 10, 15, and 20. So we have 3 tests. Let's try cargo test first, cargo test. And we can see here we have 3 tests and all 3 of them are passing. Okay, so those tests are, all 3 of them are valid. Now, let's say that I want to run just the test on line 20, the FN100 test. Can I do this? Yes, I can do it. I can just type cargo test and then the name of the function. So 100. And you can see here, in this case, we are running just the test on line 20. So this is to run a single test. It's similar to Docker Compose when we want to run just a service, okay? Now, I have one question for you. If I type cargo test to TWO, do you think that this will run some tests? The names here are on line 10, 15, and 20. We have add 2 and 2, add 3 and 2, and 100 as names of the function. So do you think this will actually run some test or not? Cargo test 2. Let's see. Maybe. Let's see. It could, but probably shouldn't. These are the most diplomatic answers I ever got on this channel. Index. No, there is no index. I'm trying to run cargo test 2. Okay, this is not easy, but I want to show you. So if I type cargo test 2, okay, it runs 2 tests. It has nothing to do with these 2. The reason is that if I type something after cargo test, it will try to match the name of the functions that I'm using to test. So by knowing this, we can be smart and give good names to the function that you're using to test. I don't know, like this is for the testing cards or something like that. In that case, it will try to match all the names of the functions, okay? Yes, I see. Not first letters is a regular expression match. Let's try again. If I try cargo test Han, it will run the test 100. So it's trying to match the names of the function, okay? It's interesting because if I create these function names in a smart way, I will get cool tests. Okay. Now, can I ignore some tests? Let's say that I want to write the test, but I don't want to run some tests, similar to git ignore. I can do that. I can just add an attribute ignore check line 15 here. And now, 1 second. And now if I type, and now if I type cargo test here, you can see here we have one test ignored, and then two tests, the number 10 and 21. We also have a recap here, one ignored, and basically we can decide some tests that maybe for a while we don't want to run. Now, can we run just the tests that have the ignored attribute? So I want to run the ignored ones. Can I do that? I can do that. Cargo test space dash dash space dash dash ignored. Okay, and in this case I'm running only the ignored test. Of course, because tests are handled by humans, so maybe in this case I want to run the ignored one. So basically I can have a group of tests, a group of ignored tests, and then I can run only the ignored one. Okay? Yes. Yeah, names. Yeah, it's basically matching the name. Okay? I want to check if there was something else to say. No, I think that's it. Okay, and this is the end of this quick lesson. So basically we went more into the details of testing. We saw a couple of options. This is not a course about test-driven development, but we are checking how we can test our applications in Rust. Okay? And that's it. What if cargo test add dash dash ignored like that then? Test add dash dash ignored. Test add? I don't think an add is an option, Leonardo. I can run the ignored one, or if I write nothing, the ignored one will be ignored. Okay, it's like I can switch between the one I want to run and the one I don't. I'm not running. Okay. Okay, so this was the end of the first one. Now I want to relax a bit. We can have a quick break. So one is gone. Okay, so this was basically just to go a bit deeper into the testing thing. Okay, nobody noticed that I have an orange t-shirt. I'm absolutely upset. Avi, how are you? I'm niching down like crazy, you see. Even some of my relatives, they're telling me like, Francesco, what is this row? This is the proof we are niching down for real. Like, but we are still not. I'm still not at the level I want. I also feel great. I've been running, haircut. I'll be on vacation in about 1 week, 6 days to be honest. Just watching now while chilling. Where everyone's going with you? Where has everyone go? Jason Prava. So I already recorded one video. So the goal of this live stream is crazy. Something I never did. I'm trying to record 3 videos in a single live stream. It happened to record 2 videos, but today I tried to record 3 videos. So this will cover basically almost all the August YouTube tutorials. I don't know, because I started doing, okay, let's do 2 of them and then I record one offline. I thought, okay, let's try something crazy and let's try to record 3 videos. At some point I will just record like 5-10 videos in one go in a live stream, which is really interesting, I would say. However, going over testing, such an underrated skill to have. Yes, Jason, we have one more about testing. You know, as I said, I'm not a test person. I'm not obsessed with testing everything. I did testing, of course, in the past. I like testing in Rust. Like you are having, you're getting this from a person who is not a test lover. Do you know what I like the most about testing in Rust? I'll go 1 second in this other movie. do you know what I like about the testing in Rust? That you don't need to install a dependency. Maybe it's dumb, but you know, when I started to I need to install Jest, libraries, PyTest, I just don't do it. Because I say, no, I don't want to install dependencies and crazy stuff. In Rust, you can test, but I'm not using any dependency. This is embedded in the language, and this small thing is the thing I like the most. So if at some point I want to run a test, I can do this with zero dependencies. This is, for someone probably it's not really an issue. You can do npm install Jest or pip install PyTest. But that extra step, say like, okay, I'll do it later. So we really don't want to write tests. This is create some friction. Say like, okay, now I need to make tests because I installed the dependency. No, in Rust you have the code. If at some point you want to write one test, you can just do it. You add an attribute and annotation. You write the testing function, and you're done. I love this. I never saw a program. I never saw a programming language like this. I don't know if there is another one. We will see this now. This is a spoiler of the upcoming thing. Of course, we'll see just a bit, but yes, we are gonna do integration test now without any dependency. And I'm sure that there are some libraries, some package. I'm sure 100% there are some Rust testing packages. But the fact that you can start writing tests without adding anything in the project will probably make me write more tests, or at least some tests in Rust. Okay, I don't know if you are with me with this, but I don't want to install a dependency on a brand new project that has the testing already. It's just that I want to start clean. If it's already in the language, at some point I might try it out. That's it. Okay, so that's clear. And I think we're ready to start with the second lesson. This second lesson of today is the number 31st, and it will be out in a couple of weeks. We have also a quick one, but a very interesting one as a third one. So if you're still here, stay in the live stream, because we're actually building a project. We are actually starting to build projects in Rust, because I've been trying to hold myself, it's fine now, trying to hold myself back, because I don't want to just dive deep into projects, otherwise I will stop doing fundamentals, because I know Francesco, I know myself. But today we'll start doing some very small project. We did the web servers, but on the next one will be about this. So we will actually see something. I can even share the code if you are interested, if you want. Okay, nice. 1 second, like this, Okay, let's go back here, and maybe I can do like this. Let's stop and let's create another file. Okay, ready. 1 second. Okay, now let's talk about test organization and integration test. We saw the basics of testing in the previous 2 lessons. In this one, we will go more into how to organize files and testing. How we can, we will see how we can organize in tests in different files, different folders. We already made a lesson or 2 about modules using different files. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, probably you should check those modules and how to organize the project structure lesson. In this lesson, we will see the project structure for test. Okay, so test organization. To do this, we create a new project with cargo new --lib. We create a library called other. We step into this folder, and then we open this with any IDE we want. Okay, let's go here. Okay, a moment. Okay, perfect. Here, a moment. Panel position right. I have I have it. Atarva. Yes, I am a member on my own YouTube channel. I pay $1 a month. That's it. Okay. Uh-huh. So when we create a project using cargo new dash dash lib and the name of the project, this is the default code we have here. We have a function, we have a test with this attribute, and then we have this function also with the test attribute. And to just run this test, we already made it sometimes, so we can just type cargo test, okay? And this should not surprise us because we already made this many times. Okay, now, can I test private functions? In some languages, this is not allowed, or the test, they suggest you to don't test private functions. This is more like into the philosophical questions, philosophical problems, but I like the approach of Rust in this case. Let's see an example here, like this. So we have this function, then we have an internal function here. You see line 1 as pub, which stands for public. The function on line 5, it doesn't have the pub keyword, so it's automatically internal, private, I would say. So can we test this using Rust? Let's just try it out. Cargo test. Let's see if we have some warning because we are testing an internal function. No. Rust couldn't care less. We can just test private and internal functions. If we don't want to test them, we just will not write tests for internal function. We will not have like this, like a test with an internal function. So the approach of Rust here is to give freedom to choose whatever we want, okay? This is about testing private functions. Okay, now let's see the integration test. How can we start writing a more structured test for our Rust applications? This part, it's interesting because we're getting into more the production-ready applications. So how can we do this? We can create a folder called tests on the root of the project. So here we can create a folder called tests with final S, okay? It also has a nice icon here, but this is not related to Rust. It has material icons on VS Code. It's an extension, okay? So now we have this. Now inside this folder, we can create a new file. Okay, we can call this file integration underscore test.rs. So we have this file which is not in the lib.rs file. Okay, and inside this file we can have something like this. We are using the usual structure, project structure for Rust projects. So we can use this use other. Other is the name of the project. So if you had a different project here, you should change it. You don't have to change the folder, but it should match with what is on the cargo.toml file. So you can have something different here on the actual folder. Rust is checking what is on the cargo.toml file on line 2. So the name of the project here. And then we have this function, this testing function. A small note here is that here we don't have the CFG, which stands for configuration. So when we on the lib.rs file, you see we have this attribute configuration testing. When we use file inside a folder called tests, in this case, I don't need to add this CFG test, okay? Okay, let's try cargo test here. I think, 1 second, let me check. Yeah, let's try cargo test. Should work. Yes, so let's read. This is a bit verbose, but let's read it here. So we have test internals. So this was the one on lib.rs here. And then check below. Yes, I think it's this one. Test. You see here, test integration test. This does mean that all the files that are inside the test folder will run automatically. Of course, the function that have a test attribute if I type cargo test. So I can actually create different files to test different functionalities of my project. And this is very, very interesting. I really like this approach. Let's see what else. Okay, what if I want to run just this integration test? File and testing functions. I can use an option. So cargo test space, no. I can use an option, cargo test, and then space dash dash test, and then just the name of the file without .rs. So integration underscore test. If I didn't make any typo, it should work. You see, and now I'm running just the integration test functions and not the one on the lib.rs. So this is the command, cargo test dash dash test and the name of the file. Okay? Nice. We are almost done, but I still want to show you something interesting because let's say that I want to run some functions while I'm testing. Okay, for more complicated use cases, this is what we need. So how can I run, I don't know, a setup for the test? I can do this in the, second, let me check. In the test folder, I can create another folder called common, and inside this common folder, I can create a file called mod.rs. This is a module called common. You can check the modules video if you are confused here. Okay, we have a folder called common, and inside this a file called mod.rs. Okay, inside this, one second, inside this mod.rs file, inside the common folder, inside the test folder, I can write just a dummy function. So, for example, public function setup. Okay, I want to set up the something for these tests. Okay, and here we can, for example, just use a println statement because I want to just see this while I am testing the functionalities. So we have this, and now you see this is not highlighted because this means that it's not called anywhere. By the way, it's called setup and not setwo. And in the integration test, I can import the module as we did in the previous video. So mod common. Okay, and now here, before this assert underscore EQ with exclamation mark, I can have this common setup. So of course this is a simulation. We are simulating that we are having a setup here. Basically we will see just this print ln. Okay, now if we type cargo test here, we can't see it. We see the test, but we can't see the output, this setting up test, okay? Because this is just doing something under the hood, I would say. So do you remember how we can show the output of functions when we are actually running this test? We saw this on the previous lesson. We can type cargo test, it was dash show, no, it was cargo test space dash dash space dash dash show dash output. Let's see if I remember it correctly. Yes, you can see here now using this command cargo test space dash dash space dash dash show dash output. Check it out here, setting up test. So this is the whole circle. So we created, let's make a recap here. So here we have a lib.rs file that contains a function and an internal function. In this lib.rs file, we just run the internal testing function, and we see that, and we saw that this worked. Then we created a test folder, and inside this test folder, we created an integration test file that has another function, but it's in an external file. Okay, and then on this integration test, and then to set up this integration test, maybe we need to do something before running this specific test. We created a folder called common, and inside this a file called mod.rs. We are simulating that you are doing something for the test, and inside this integration test, check line 7, we are actually doing the setup. So this is the whole circle. And then if you want to also see, for example, this println statement, we use the command cargo test dash dash space dash dash show dash output. I hope this was clear. If you have any question, just write them below, and see you in the next video.